Well, we back from halftime, and like we promised you guys early in the show, we have a special guest joining us here. All Things Covered, episode 6, 2013 first round selection, 3-time first team All Pro, most receiving touchdowns in the NFL since 2017. Pat P's teammate with the Arizona Cardinals, one of the best wide receivers in the game right now, DeAndre Hopkins. Man, appreciate you joining us here on All Things Covered. Man, first and foremost, let's get to the big story. Sunday Night Football, outstanding game from both sides. You balled out, Pat P balled out. But when you look at your entire professional career, where would you rank that ball game from Sunday night among the wildest ball games you participated in?
Man, that's a tough question. Obviously, previously playing against the Chiefs last year, go to win a Super Bowl up 21-0. That was an exhilarating game. But I'm gonna have to go with this game right here because obviously my team won and it was a Super Bowl contender. It was a back and forth game. Definitely great game by the Seahawks. But this game right here is number one for me in my NFL career. Collegiate, I would say beating LSU, in the bowl game. Those guys was predicted to beat us. But NFL
that was the
career,
Peach Bowl, right? That was the Peach Bowl.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But this game right here by far, man, it tops them all.
Pat, what about you? I know you participated in some wild games also.
Yeah, this is probably number 3 for me. My number one wildest game was actually another Seattle game. The 6-6 game when we went into overtime, we ended up tying in 2017, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember the exact year. That was one. 2 would have to be when we beat Seattle in 15. All of them actually is going to be Seattle games. Mm-hmm. When we beat Seattle up there in 15, I thought that was a great game because it was almost like this one. We was down in the fourth quarter. We had to find a way on defense to make stops and give Carson back the ball. And my boy 6 did the rest, Andre Ellington. And this will be number 3 by far. It was a great gutty team effort. And we just wanted it more. We knew if we just hung in there and got the right breaks that we needed at the end of the game, that we was going to win. Hey, so on Sunday night, D-Hop, I know you probably didn't see it, but once Kyler noticed the single high coverage, he literally started smiling. Obviously, with me being in practice with y'all and on the side, I know y'all always licking y'all chops on those one-on-one matchups. Talk to us a little bit about that touchdown catch.
Man, so that play right there was designed play to try to catch those guys off guard. They didn't do exactly what we thought they were going to do, but we got the look that we wanted, and that was one high for him to rotate that safety down. And Kyler knew off the rip he was coming to me. I knew we talked about in practice. This is a deep ball. This is a touchdown. We going for it. No back shoulder. We this head down. So I knew from the rip that all I needed was that corner just to stand up a little bit, and
right.
I was taking off. And if you look at it, man, he don't even get his hand on the laces. He just get it and throw it up because he already knew what it was. Where it needed to be. But man, when I seen it on Twitter, I was like, man, he really bad. And I was like, man, nah.
That's comfort.
But bro really was smiling, man. And it's hard for us. We don't get too many one-hot looks, man. So, what we do is go time.
Yeah, you got to take advantage of it. But we're going to take it back a little bit. We're going to go back to your high school days. Bro,
not the high school
You had
days.
28 interceptions, 5 defensive touchdowns. Were you that nasty on defense?
Hey, P, you got to put that thing on, man. See, my high school was country, though. My high school is country. It's hard for us to go back and find the highlights. Man, they just started letting the DBs wear low tops when I was coming in.
You had some high tops? You was out there with some high top cleats?
What'd you say?
I said you out there with some high top cleats?
Man, at first I was, man. But you had to earn the low tops. It was one of those kind of schools. But, man, we played against some good talent. I played against Martavis Bryant, who was a 5-star. He basically the rival high school had a pick 6 on him. Kind of helped me become, that ball knocking kind of guy, because I was a basketball player, and they were telling me, 7-on-7 is good for you. I always thought I wanted to play quarterback, and they was like, man, you're long, you can catch real good, you got big hands, so let's see what you do on the 7-on-7. And before I stepped on the field and played, I was, catching interceptions in 7-on-7s, and I was like, this is a good position right here. And my first high school game against the number 1 team in the state, I caught 3 interceptions, man, my first game. And me not really being, into football like that, because I was a basketball player, I didn't know the significance of 3 interceptions. So, after the game, the following week, the news, local news, like, oh, we want to interview you. I'm like, y'all want to interview me for what? They're like, man, you had 3 interceptions. I'm like, okay, and I still kind of really didn't understand the significance of having a lot of interceptions until I got to college. And I'm getting, I was basketball and football, but the football team asked me, did I want to play DB also? And they were low at receiver, and they knew I could catch, so they was like, all right, we're gonna put you over here at receiver and see what you can do, because we need help right here. And I just kind of naturally caught that gift at receiver, man. But I was a DB throughout, high school, and that's what I thought I wanted to be. But man, 28 interceptions. I think I still got the record. Stephon Gilmore, Jonathan Joseph. It's a lot of South Carolina, DBs that are in the NFL that that are DBs now, and I think I still hold that record. And that was only 3 years too, man.
Man, 3 years.
That's crazy.
I mean, my thing is this though. At what point did they decide to not throw your direction? Like, I mean, after 15, 16, 17, you would think the offense would get the notice, like, yo, Hop can play some football. We need to throw the opposite direction.
It was after my junior year.
Damn.
Yeah, they
by that time the damage was done.
So
it was already done.
So I had to get in the middle of the field. Yeah, man.
That's what's up, man. Yeah. So anyone that follows you and your career know about the relationship you have with your mom, who's legally blind. But talk about how influential she's been in your life. And I heard that she attends almost every ball game that she's able to attend. But just talk about that one-on-one relationship you have with your mom.
Oh yeah, like a lot of young Black African Americans, single parent household is common, and just like a lot of other people, grew up in a situation that we had to make it out, and everything around us was resourceful, so it's a story that a lot of people are familiar with, man. I think that's what resonates with a lot of us athletes, and it's a story that not just but you guys as well have been, in situations like that. And my mom is, that's my mom and dad when you grow up in a situation like that. So,
right.
Father's Day, you give mom a gift. Mm-hmm. And my mom, she's blind, legally blind, and been like that for years. And she's my number one supporter, my number one critic. Off the field, on the field. I got a girl. Oh yeah, mom's got to meet her first. Well, come on, she got to go to lunch with me. Yeah. And when I'm not, when my name isn't heard enough on the football field, she the first one to call me, like, I ain't hear your name enough. What's going on? So man, it's like a lot of other people, man. Mom's best friend.
And that's a beautiful thing to see, that relationship you have with your beautiful queen, man. But I know a lot of people know D Hop, the football player. I got an opportunity to, as you being my teammate, got an opportunity to see how you move and see some of the things you're intrigued in. I know you're very intrigued in fashion. I know you love fashion, but you just recently picked up another language. Talk to us about that a little bit.
Yeah, so how I got into the other language, Italian, doing business and fashion with some Italians, and I was at the dinner table with those guys one day, and they were speaking Italian, and they was kind of just talking around me, and I was like, man, if I'm gonna do business with these guys, I need to be able to somewhat understand at least a little bit of this language, just so they can see that, you know, he's trying to indulge in our language, because English is a common language all across the world.
Right.
Traveling to Paris, you know, everyone can speak English, you know, and it's something that's taught early, but I'm like, man, you know, we're only taught to speak Spanish, you know, or, you know, certain languages. And, you know, that's what kind of got me indulged in trying to learn another language, and just traveling, man, and just, you know, meeting people, and trying to, you know, just do things outside the box that, you know, commonly, you know, we feel like that we can't do.
What's your favorite place you traveled to so far?
Man, my favorite place, bro, is Paris. Paris, they, man, the fashion there is crazy, man. You'll get a little mom and pop brand, and you know it's the best material, everything. But I was supposed to go to Italy, but COVID kind of messed that up. I was
Right.
supposed to take a nice trip to Italy. Y'all been to Italy before?
Yeah, remember we talked about it. Remember I was telling you about the Amalfi Coast and
Oh yeah, that is right.
Milan and all that stuff. Capri. I mean, I love Italy. Italy is a beautiful, beautiful place, man. I think you'll definitely love it out there, because it's a lot. It's a lot like Paris, but it's a like far as like in Capri and the Amalfi Coast. It's more like a lot of mom and pop stuff. So if you go to restaurants, it's like you're eating in someone's house. Like they
Oh
cook,
yeah,
they get all their ingredients, you know, off their farm. You know what I mean? You know, out of their garden. So it's real authentic.
yeah, that's
Authentic.
legit.
Yeah, I think you really would enjoy that for sure.
Okay, I'll check that out. Amalfi Coast.
So D-Hop, man, watching you right now, for the audience that are watching us here on YouTube, they see you have a sweatshirt on, More Than a Vote sweatshirt. Talk about what this election means to you. And also, too, you know, you made the headlines actually before you got into the stadium, you know, catching passes and scoring a touchdown. You made the headlines traveling to the stadium, and I think you was in a nice Ferrari with no roof. The roof was missing on Ferrari. Nice
Yeah,
roof, by
man.
the way. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
man.
you
Shout
made
out to the Italians.
no question. Nice Ferrari, man. But on the way to the stadium, you made headlines. I guess there were some Trump supporters on the road, and they felt like, you know, you were driving fast and you kind of flicked them off. But talk a little bit about that situation, along with what the election means to you this year.
Yeah, so you know, the election, I think it means a lot to not just myself but everybody. You know, obviously, you have someone in office, running our nation that considers, you know, people something for the flag, son of a bitch, or you know, so you know, anytime you have a person like that you know is disrespectful to a group of people when they're standing for something good, obviously that's not a good sign. That's not something that, you know, is good. I feel like for you know, for people who mean well, like my brothers, like Colin Kaepernick, you know, and so I think um, you know, it's not just sports. Obviously, more than a vote. LeBron James and what those guys are doing is you know, it's powerful. It's something that's going to be remembered for decades and probably, you know, the rest of our lives. You know, he's getting a group of people together that are influencers to put out the message to go vote and helping spread the message on where to, what location, which I think is something that has obviously been you know, not interpreted to us properly how to do those things, which is, you know, changing, which you know, back when they took away the Jim Crow laws and stuff like that, you know, back to segregation, even though, you know, we're free and we can vote, it's still, you know, underlying sentences of, you know, where to and how and really what it means. And, you know, those things. And so more than the vote, man, it's educating people at the end of the day. Even if, you know, you don't go vote, you know, they're making people aware of, you know, your human rights and what you want your country to stand for. So, you know, that's why I wear this proudly, this shirt, because it's something that I want to be remembered by as someone who stands up for something, you know, that's on the good, you know, on the good side of things. And, you know, obviously yesterday I made a lot of headlines, which, you know, it's the world, it's the internet. You know, anything you do now, especially in my shoes, is going to be publicized. Um, you know, driving on the highway, I guess I got in between a train or, you know, a bunch of cars that I wasn't supposed to be in between in my car. And, they was honking the horn at me and stuff like that, I guess, to tell me to get out of their way. And, I didn't. And the guy in front of me stepped on his brakes and, tried to stop dead in traffic. And I got around him and I stuck him a birdie. I really, was about to stick, do the peace sign to him, but this finger right here was kind of hurting, so it didn't make it up in time. But yeah, man, it was like, darn, dude, you trying to stop on brakes and dead traffic, because I'm in you guys, train or whatnot, just trying to go to work. And so, yeah, it wasn't nothing, nothing thrown out the car or anything like that. No speeding. Obviously, you see me, right there. And if I was in a Ferrari, speeding, I don't think he'll be able to take a still picture of me.
Right.
But yeah, that's all.
Man, I thought it was bogus because heck, we all was in that traffic. You know what I mean? So I didn't see a problem with it because it wasn't a scheduled parade. You know what I mean? We're driving on the highway trying to get to point B. You know what I mean? So man, it just goes to show, man, that it's those people are still out there, man. So we just have to make sure that we stay woke.
Yeah, man, one love, I'm like Bob Marley, one love, peace. Yes, that's all I stand for. World, I'm saying peace, man.
Peace until you get on the football field.
Right. Well, since we're talking about the
that's it.
Justice,
until then.
Right. Do you think the NFL, as of right now, doing a good job promoting social justice, and what more would you like to see done to raise more awareness on it?
Yeah, I think they're taking steps. This is something that kind of just smacked everybody in the face. A lot of occurrences back to back that happens. It's like it's a lot of stuff that's been happening, but now you got cameras, so I think it's kind of taking them by surprise on what's going on and how fast people are reacting and wanting an answer. But I think they're doing their best of trying to do things. Obviously, we're us, you and I, as players, we play a big part in that also of helping them get that message out. And I think a lot of players are doing their job, doing that. And do I think that the NFL could do more? I think they're doing a lot of good stuff. Obviously, some stuff that we don't see. And so from they could do more. Man, I would want to be able to talk to somebody there, because I think that one thing they could do more of is talk to, us players and let us, really decide and dictate certain things, the current players. And, I'm not part of the NFL PA, on the team, on the board. And I don't think that if you are on that board or not on that board, you should only have a say. So, that's one thing that I felt like that, people that represent us, they mean well, but some people also got a voice and, have great opinions, but not necessarily want to be part of that, those guys that have voted for the NFL, PA stuff. And that's probably the only thing that I would say since I've been in the league that I saw that could probably help and make a difference.
Gotcha.
Well, let's transition to Clemson, right? 3 years there, Clemson, South Carolina, University of Clemson, where Florida State probably was whooping you left and right, but we ain't gonna talk about that. Y'all got me. But when you look at your position, right, Hop, the wide receiver position, I mean, many people feel like Clemson, they're wide receiver U of college football. And when you were in a Tiger uniform, you had yourself, right, Martavius Bryant, a young Sammy Watkins. Also, I forgot Adam Humphries was on that team as well, right? I mean, Clemson is kind of like the Pittsburgh Steelers of college football when it comes to hitting on wide receivers. What is the reason for the success at the wide receiver position for Clemson?
I think it's the strength training coaches. I think a lot of people, they don't see the grind that goes on. But once you're in college, man, that weight room and changing your body from freshman to your junior, senior year, it makes a big difference on how you're gonna, play in the NFL. And I think that's one thing that, a lot of people don't see and don't get a lot of credit from. But strength trainers, I think we got some of the best strength trainers in the game on, the way guys run and develop from becoming a high school sensation and really taking that next step, because a lot of guys at Clemson are 3 and out. And so you got to have, a staff and coaches that are helping those guys develop, because, football, man, that's going to come natural. You're going to go out there and do your thing.
Right.
But, I think that's something that, I would say we stand out apart as our strength training.
So could you tell Dabo and the program was on the verge on something really special when you was leaving?
I could, bro. And man, it was definitely that LSU game that kind of got us over the hump. But you got SEC and obviously Florida State, but Clemson had good teams, but we would just have okay teams. We'll have great players on our team, but once Dabo got there, he gave the whole town, the city of Clemson, a different spark.
Right.
Just the way he coached, and the stories you hear about him just playing pickup basketball game with players. It was just a different energy.
That's dope.
So after Clemson, 2013, your first round selection to the Houston Texans, instantly, you really showed the organization they made the right choice in drafting you. But I can tell you this much, the people that were throwing you the football, no shade to them, but they weren't ideal. I mean, early in your career, you had Matt Schaub, Case Keenum, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Brock Osweiler, Brian Hoyer, Ryan Mallett, TJ Yates, Brandon Whedon, Tom Savage. And then in 2017, now, listeners, if you're listening to us on the podcast and you're not watching us on YouTube, you should be watching us on YouTube as well. You didn't get a chance to see D Hop. The names that I was reading off, he put his head down on the table as I'm reading these names off. And then 2017, Deshaun Watson arrives in Houston. Man, talk about how excited you were when they drafted Deshaun Watson, because you still had success with the guys that I mentioned. You still had success, but now you get a proven, talented player at the quarterback position. How important was he for your career in Houston when you guys played together, and how excited you were when they drafted him?
Man, when they drafted Deshaun Watson, I think I told everyone in my family that's the happiest I've been since being in the NFL.
Wow.
Wow.
True statement, man. That was I made, went to the Pro Bowl, hung out with some guys I looked up to. But when we got Deshaun, man, I knew then that my career could excel to my potential, and him and I broke records together. Obviously he's still doing his thing down there, with what he has, and he'll turn around. I know Deshaun, he's a leader. He a baller, but man, once we drafted Deshaun, man, I think I was happier than I was obviously anybody, because he's throwing me the football, and we bonded from day one. Obviously, 2 Clemson guys. He came to Houston. I gave him advice, just about how to maneuver, man, and how to be a professional, and that was something that he's obviously taking the next step and doing right now.
Well, speaking of your former quarterback, we're gonna talk about Kyler on Monday night. On the broadcast night last week, they said Kyler Murray. You said Kyler Murray was the first quarterback to yell at you as a pro. Why? Like, walk through us like how that went down. Like I didn't even know that.
Man, he got a high pitched voice. So at first, I didn't know. I was like, man, who yelling at me? Then I had to look, and he was looking at me. I was like, oh, he on me.
What happened though? Like it was just a miscommunication.
Man, so it was a miscommunication on my behalf. He gave a signal. I ran the wrong signal that he gave, which ended up to him throwing an interception. Luckily, you guys played good defense and got the ball back right to us after, but it was on a slant. Landon Collins caught it. I was supposed to run a go. I ran a slant, and I took Landon Collins to the other side where he was throwing. And man, right after Kyler was on me, man. He was talking about me, getting my playbook. Just
I mean, funny story right there with Kyler Murray at that stage in his career. He's okay in hollering at a potential Hall of Fame player offensively in DeAndre Hopkins, and I think that says a lot about you, D Hop, because you're willing to accept when you're wrong, move on, and continue to make plays. So that's big time leadership. And talking about leadership, what you guys currently have there. We talked about the Deshaun Watson move that Texans made in 2017. But a few months ago, the Cardinals and the Texans made big time headlines. The unthinkable happened when the Texans and Bill O'Brien decided to move you, a move that shocked everybody. Even Pat P said he didn't believe it. He thought it was fake news. He didn't believe that actually was a reality. At what point? Well, number one, you can set the record straight, D Hop, or whatever it is you would like to do here on All Things Covered. But how was the relationship for you guys throughout your career there? And if it became rocky, at what point did it become rocky between you and Bill O'Brien?
Yeah, man, I would say, it was like a head coach player relationship. Really wasn't, you know, a relationship, you know, just kind of, to say the least. So, there's never nothing I can like bad or good I can say, because it was a player coach situation. I was doing my job, he was doing his job. So I guess the rocky part came when I knew I was about to be traded. And that's really it. But I think I'm on the right side of what happened, and appreciative of being able to play with the Arizona Cardinals, man. My new team, which I think I already had pieces to puzzle. It's just needed a little help, man. So the situation there, happened. Me being there, leaving early in my career, I guess saying but to me, knowing the kind of football and the style I wanted to play and where I wanted to be on in a team, it was a situation that I was grateful for it to happen.
What led you to believe you would be traded?
Man, me just my intuition.
Yeah.
And knowing, when you're a football player, you have intuition, man. You've been around the business long enough, been in the league for 7 years, seeing how things work, and seeing what's going on.
Start a sit, Kyler Murray or Deshaun Watson. Man, that's a tough one.
I gotta hear this.
Start Kyler Murray, sit Deshaun Watson.
Okay. Wow. Why? Can we get a why?
Kyler is a young goat. Deshaun is a young goat. But the reason why is because Kyler is throwing me the ball in 2 more weeks.
Good answer.
Great answer. Great answer. Last question before we jump to the superlative part of our show, D Hop. Man, you did something a lot of players, clearly probably won't attempt to do, which is negotiate your own contract. You recently signed a 2-year deal, $54 million contract, bro. Number one, I applaud you for being able to do that and get it done the right way, that both parties are happy with the deal. But could you fill us in on that process and what led you to that mindset to be able to go into a Fortune 500 company and negotiate your deal and be willing to walk out and get exactly what you wanted?
Obviously, it was a decision that wasn't easy. I had to talk it out with my mom, my decision maker that helps me, make all my decisions. And, we prayed on it and thought that, it would be a good thing to do, knowing where I want to be after football. And, for me, it was something that I didn't hesitate to do once I kind of got that affirmative from my mom that we can do this. Obviously, everyone in the NFL has financial advisors, but my financial advisor is, someone that is, overly qualified to be a financial advisor. He's a great businessman, so he's my mentor also. A young Black brother, from Houston. So, along with that, having the education of agents and knowing the percentage they make, and me just feeling like, all right, I know I can go in here and do this deal, and the percentage that I can give an agent, it doesn't make sense for me to do and still keep that relationship with the team. I thought that was something that was important to me, to have an open communication, with my organization. And after what happened in Houston, I felt that I wanted a better, line of communication, with what's going on, so I can never be lost in what's going on. And man, it wasn't easy though. A lot of nights reading, papers, contract languages, because I had a team. I had 3 guys that helped me do it. Two of them are financial advisors, and one of them is like an expert at contracts for the NFL, and not just NFL, but all contracts. So got those 3 guys together, man, and we made history. Did something that not a lot of athletes have done before, and I think it's something that opened the door for players. And no knock to any agent. My agent was a good agent. It wasn't no bad blood between us. It was just a decision that I wanted to do, and players, we can we can do a lot if we put our mind to it. Other than football, that's just something that we put a lot of hours in. But man, we special people, man. We dedicated in anything that we do. So I was one of the young guys, and even older guys, to kind of understand that, start taking the power in our own hand, man. Especially what's going on. It's time for us to start making business decisions that's going to change the trajectory of what's going on.
There you have great answer. Now we're going to transition to the superlative part of our show, D-Hop, and these are just rapid questions. We need your first answer, the first answer that come to mind for you. I got the first question for you. Best pro team you played on?
Arizona Cardinals.
Oh,
best basketball player in the NFL?
Best basketball player in the NFL. Dwayne Brown.
Okay.
Ooh, Dwayne Brown, the big left tackle for Seattle.
Legit.
He got something.
He legit, man. Hey, he used to be a tight end in college, man.
At VTech. Yeah. All right. Most underrated wide receiver ever.
Tyler Lockett.
Ooh.
Best quarterback wide receiver duo in the NFL today.
Tyreek Hill, Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, no knock there. Last question for you. Toughest cornerback matchup right now for you and over your career. So currently the toughest cornerback matchup for you, and then over the course of your career.
I'm gonna go Jalen Ramsey, because we play each other twice a year.
Jacksonville.
I played Pat, one time, man. Pat was probably overall the hardest matchup, even though, my team won, man. That was probably one of the funnest games I played in since playing in the NFL was against Pat.
No doubt. Well, hey, man, we appreciate you, D-Hop, for joining us here on All Things Covered, man. It's an honor, man. Make sure you stay healthy while you get into your bye week. And, man, y'all boys keep chopping wood with the Miami Dolphins coming. Matter of fact, you talk about cornerback matchup. You got 2 corners that Miami, they're paying top dollar to, and Byron Jones and Xavier Howard. So that should be a fun matchup coming off of your bye week.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all having me on the show.